And we're back. I'm Alek Dincoff, chatting with Steve Todd, founder of OpenSourceWorkplace.com.
How you doing, Alec? Good to see you again. Good to see you. Nicely growing beard there with the month being November, so to speak.
Yes, it is November, and for a timeline, if some of you may watch this video a little after it's shot. Thanksgiving just passed, so that's where we're at. Happy holidays. See you still.
Happy holidays to you too.
Thank you. I got to see all the sides of the family. Did you have a enjoyable one?
I did, thanks. Yes, it was quite relaxing. Very, very easy, and honestly, after the previous couple of weeks, it was a blessing to have it so quiet. A few little bumps along the road with my house, but other than that, everything was grand. But yeah, all good.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about the bumps, but other than that, I'm glad to see a smile on your face. Now, with a lot of downtime, that leaves a lot of time for reading, pursuing interests, trying to escape family member conversations. So have you had plenty of time to catch up on articles, reading, or did you just try and shut down and enjoy the holiday?
Both. I did both. I can't switch off. I just can't. No matter what I try and do, I just can't. So I sort of made a deal with myself that I would get up and just do my normal routine. And when I felt tired, I would stop. And that's what I did. I consumed a lot of garbage TV. When I say garbage TV, sort of movies, like sort of, the Die Hard movies and just things like that. I just kick back, put them on, eat for dinner, fall asleep, wake up, watch them. I did a lot of that. It was really good. I do enjoy those days. But I spent a lot of time catching up on a lot of content and watching a lot of YouTube. Primarily, again, I'm really focusing on this, the Google Analytics, understanding how people, how Google ranks, rates, and so on and so forth. So spend a lot of time trying to focus on how my content's created. Are my articles answering the questions that people are asking? So as it relates to workplace employee experience, are my articles actually really targeting what people are really looking for and what they're specifically asking? I've yet to conclude that they are. That therefore means that there's a lot of room for improvement. So those are sort of things that I'll be sort of trying to address over the next few weeks. I am trying to get an uptick on new writers. Not that who I have on board at the moment are doing anything wrong. They're not. What I want to try and do is bring on different types of writers who may be able to focus more on those direct questions that, if you're basically, you're sitting in the office and you have a question because that's what's come up or something's come up in a meeting, you type it into Google, can I put content together that's maybe a little... all my phones are off there. Just that's what happened. Anyway, we'll keep going. So trying to put together some writers who can really target some of those questions. So what are those questions that are coming up? And that's obviously on me to find out what I think those are and then give clear direction on how I think those articles can be answered and maybe give a more direct and more meaningful answer that may be perhaps available today on Google.
Perfect. Well, good luck. They say good help is hard to find. So if you're bringing new writers on, hopefully their content is spot on. I know you've been impressed in the past with the quality, when you ask for something and so much more is delivered to you. I know you've talked about that before. So hopefully everything goes smoothly, especially with the new site dropping here in December. We're moving into it.
Yeah, so that's another thing I spent doing this weekend. I got updates through on the new site. I went through it. A lot of comments, as one would expect, a lot of Q&A. a lot of iterations. Some things aren't quite what I thought they would be or where I thought they would be at this point in time, and that's fine. And again, as I sort of mentioned previously, I'm not really pushing it too hard right now. The developer is, and that's fine. I totally get it. He's looking to get paid, and that's absolutely right. But I'm with the way content's flowing and sort of how where sort of ranks and Googles and so on and so forth. I'm not too concerned about pushing it too much, because when the new site goes, I want to bring on service providers to give them access to the site. And I want to be sure that whenever they are onboarded, that actually there is a opportunity for them to interact and be exposed to people who may be searching and looking for solutions. So I'm very cognizant of that. So again, working through, end to end of all the different aspects of what I'm trying to put on the new site. And as I said, there are a lot of things that need to be tweaked, and a lot of the things that be tweaked are things like flow. So if A happens, then should B or C or D happen? And if those things aren't flowing properly, then okay, how does that then happen, right? So what does the pop-up look like? What is the words within that pop-up? What are the next steps after that? It's just all those running through all those different scenario plannings. So it's very tedious, but it's so vital and so important. And that's where the pain sort of comes in, so to speak. But it's the new site's got to be a lot more interactive. It's got to be a lot more engaging. It's got to be a lot easier for people to ask questions. And whenever they ask questions, then other members are alerted that someone's asking a specific question and they have an opportunity to help somebody else out. And obviously, then if you've put that question out there or a comment out there, someone responds to it, we got to be sure that someone's been alerted to the fact that someone's responding to them. Again, trying to drive interaction and sort of making an exchange so that people who do take the time and effort to ask the question feel that they are getting a response and they are being rewarded for participating on the platform. So those are all the things that I'm really trying to work through to ensure, a much, much better user experience.
Well, it sounds like once there's no bugs, the human intelligence aspect of it sounds very intriguing, I will say, because human intelligence is AI is great for certain things. Human intelligence can be really good in certain areas still. So,
yeah,
great. Fingers crossed for the new site. Now, we've talked on content last video. We touched on content, whether you're consuming it, making it, etc. But you mentioned that you're writing content. Real quick, at the very end of the last episode, why? Why? I know you have expertise in a niche in your field, but is there anything more than just that?
It's sort of, I know I quickly referenced it at the end of our last conversation. And I went back and I've been digesting a lot, sort of some of the comments and some of the feedback received post the Charlotte presentation I give at IFMA, and the questions that were raised. And I don't think with my search and what I've been doing, because in essence, I sort of looked at, okay, so the questions that people are asking me are quite not elementary. They're not elementary because these are real problems that people are having, right? They're clearly the information or the process or anything else that needs to be done is not being done. It's not being provided. So how do we give people access to that? I'm not saying that I have the answers, but my experience in what I'm trying to do, for example, what I mean by what I'm trying to say is, so if I'm doing something at work and I think I've just worked through a process, I've just worked through something, is there an opportunity for me to share that experience, that process, that mindset, that thinking, that logic that may be beneficial to other people? And that's really what I want, always envisioned open source could be. It could be a tool that whether or not somebody finds everything that I'm saying useful, they may be able to take it, repackage it to make it applicable to their own situation. And I just feel that there's a real opportunity for me, but also for anybody else. I mean, again, right, so open source workplace, open source means anybody can participate. I actually have on my site a contribute button. So if there was somebody else who was sort of listening to this and felt that they had a skill set or they had experience that they could share, that perhaps there may be even, you know, the people who they may be mentoring or the people on their team who can maybe learn and benefit from having something scripted and a guide put in place that was being put out there only for one purpose, to share, to share, to share. Then I think there's such a great opportunity for that. And I've been thinking and I've been trying to say, how do I help people more? So as I've been going through my processes, I've been thinking, okay, this is what's on my mind. How am I resolving it? Let me put something together that provides that. One little thing I found out this week, which actually is a real help to me. So writing, I'm not so good at. Talking, I'm a little better. I'm quite long-winded. I know that you experience that quite a lot, as to anyone else who listens to me. But using Google Docs and the voice to text, the amount of content I can get through is ridiculous. What may have taken me 90 minutes to 2 hours before to actually get down, type, and get my thoughts in place, I can simply just talk to Google. The doc goes through, and in 30 minutes, I have a really good broad scope of a article that I can then go through and just edit up a little bit, and it's ready to go. It's a great tool. It is great, and it's really, it really has changed things for me when it comes to actually producing some content. So I'm still fearful that I don't put my name against the content. It should be easy to see because it's got to be, no one's name's going to be against it. But part of it is I still have reservations about my ability to write, and I'm quite open to that. So I'm a little shy coming forward with that just at the moment. But I'm sure over time, as I feel I get a little better, my words become a little more succinct, and people may be able to understand me a little bit better. I'll probably maybe put my name out there a little bit more. But yeah, that's where mine is all coming from in writing.
Okay. Well, nobody writes an amazing novel the first time they try, right? So if you haven't had the practice writing or speaking articles, then it's going to come in time. You will exponentially become better. So I hope to see your name on a few of those articles down the line. I did want to ask, for someone who is thinking, that sounds like me. I'm a better speaker than writer. How accurate / difficult was the text to speech for Google Docs?
It wasn't that hard. I was impressed. I've tried a few other tools over the last few years. There was one called Dragon that was around 2-3 years ago, maybe even longer actually. And it wasn't great. You had to learn certain commands for it to react in certain ways. I've tried it on Evernote and it was okay. It was a little better. But I actually tried to put it on Evernote and I couldn't find the text to thing. So I then simply just went to Google Docs, and then I was really, really impressed by how accurate, how fast it typed, and how intuitive it is. So you just say full stop and it puts a full stop. New line, it goes to the new line. It's really, really intuitive. What's kind of interesting is because I do have a little mumble, a little slur in the way I talk, and I have a little accent, but it kind of knew what I was trying to say. So I was impressed.
Okay, that's interesting because you bring up the slur or the accent, and I've heard complaints where people with thick, whether I think it was a Scottish accent, I heard someone complaining that a few of their words, no matter what they say, Google does not know what it is. Never.
Neither does anybody else, so that's okay.
That's funny, but that's good. That's good that it's speed. Can you give me an example real quick of just talk normally that you would speak to the Google Docs so the listeners watching this video can grasp how fast it really translates?
Yeah, and I would say, honestly, the way we're talking, if I had a Google Doc up right now, it would be able to type what we're saying.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and if you think about it, it's kind of intuitive that that's what it should be. So you think about YouTube, right? So YouTube takes your video, on the back end, it actually transcribes everything that's said. That's not a human sitting listening to you and I chatting. That's just their technology just taking over and just doing that. So, you know, they've been doing it for a while. So that's why whenever we go to it, actually, that's why it's so good, because there's been intelligence learning from all that YouTube activity for years. That's why it's so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad it works for you. It's going to work for a lot of different people. My question, back to content, is there anything that you're excited to write yourself? Have you taken certain topics and said, that's for me? Or have you thought to yourself, I really want to, not yet, but soon, write about a certain genre, topic, thing? Anything that piques your interest specifically? And if so, why?
There's nothing really that sort of comes to mind. And again, the way I've sort of looked at it as I've been writing content is, what's been my experience? What's the question that's gone through my head? What have I just carried out? A process, whatever it is. I mean, a process or, an engagement, a sort of engagement meaning interviewing for an architect, for a project manager, or whatever that is. What is the process that I've used? What is the logic I've used? Can I put that to paper? Would that be helpful for somebody else? Those are sort of things that I've been doing. And with my current job in NASDAQ, I'm working on a project for a new headquarter building. So aspects of that, I think, may be very interesting to a lot of people. So as those opportunities come up, as an example, part of the process that I want to do is run focus groups with individual teams. So one thing I have in my head is, okay, so how do you run a focus group as part of a design process? So being able to provide insights and sort of, I'll maybe do a few focus groups, then I will have takeaways. Okay, here's what I set up. Here's what I did well. Here's what I didn't do well. Here's ways to improve. Again, I'm quite open to be open, transparent, and, humble enough that I know I don't have everything, and I'm quite okay to not, be able to share that I get things wrong. And the whole point of doing these things is to help other people avoid mistakes that another person may make. And that's kind of what I wanted to do.
All right. Let me ask you a question. Because with your wisdom, background, knowledge, expertise, it's so important for you to actually sit down and write some of this information, because it really could help other people. Or if, like you said, if you're wrong, perhaps this community will reach out and say, hey, try this.
Yeah.
Right. So it will in turn give good feedback to you. My question is, why write when you could do the text to speech and then hand it to an editor?
That's gone through my head too. It really has. And I've been debating whether or not to do that. It probably makes sense because the writing becomes that much better. And honestly, a lot of it is, I just go on the whim of, okay, I'm going to write something and then I just want to post it. I just want to get it out there and sort of be done with it. And sending it to an editor to sort of review to make sure it is perfect. I almost think takes a little bit away of my vulnerability in a way, if you know what I'm saying. But no, it's went through my head. It's probably something I should do. Because in essence, it actually probably helps other people because the writing's more constructive and probably more impactful with the experience of a good editor. I should probably send something and see how dramatically different what I've posted is against versus what an editor has actually put together. So no, I should probably take that into consideration and run that exercise to to see A versus B. No, it's a good idea.
Well, you're the type of person who always likes to learn, right? You have to try things to see how far off or how accurate you are. Perhaps maybe one or two articles just to see. But you're right. I feel like it would take away a little bit of that authenticity where this is you with your words just spilling out onto paper. First thing that came to your mind, it's very real. It's the nitty-gritty details of not only who you are, but what your free-flowing thought is in the industry with the background knowledge you have. It may be something where you try a hybrid, where you do a Word document, send it to an editor, and then when you get it back, have Google text-to-speech, I don't know, in your commute to work. Listen to the article spoken back to you and say, oh, they missed something. I can't have an editor if they're misinterpreting me. Or you might say, that was concise, that was clear. I think now I may have confused the reader. You know, it may be certain people's writing style, I guess, works well for certain people, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. No, I'll definitely try it. I'll definitely try and see and see where we end up. So we'll keep posting, and then 6 months later, we could actually what it could do is put both out there, and see how Google ranks and see who gets the most views. Run as a competition. There we go.
That is a fantastic idea, I think. Just to see what, because just because Google likes one or the other better, that may not mean the community doesn't see your article, especially if you put your name with it. They might say, hey, this feels real. This feels honest. You know, it may be better received. You never know until you try.
It's true. It's true.
Very good.
I'm going to do it. I will do it.
It can be scary. Speaking of which, so since putting your name on something can be scary, especially at the beginning of your writing career, if I can say that, what are your reservations? What sticks out the most? Is it just you don't know if you're ready, or?
I've always been self-conscious about my writing ability ever since as a young kid. And that was amplified whenever I came from the UK to the US. So in the UK, I got used to writing in a format, in a way that worked. And also, especially, I got used to writing in a finance style because that was my background. And usually finance it's to the point, it's clear, it's concise, it's a sequence. And it's, you know, I find that relatively, I adjusted to that, it was fine. Then I came to the US, completely different text, context, words, everything else. And all of a sudden I was like questioning myself. Also, I worked at Associated Press, where I'm surrounded by the best writers that there are on the planet. And again, you're getting the finger pointed at you. Didn't do this right, you didn't do this and this, and you just become so, and to be fair, it wasn't as bad as that. It's, and I'm sure my writing isn't as bad as what I think it is. But again, that's where my insecurities sort of come to the fore. And also, writing just takes me a long time, man. I find it so boring. Thoughts are in my head, and by the time I get it down on paper, the thought's gone. And so I'm really excited about the voice to text, because I think it allows my brain to flow that much quicker. And I think that'll help. But we'll see.
We'll see. I believe, especially if that's the perfect excuse, though, because you spell words differently as a kid, and now you live here in the USA where we spell things even stranger. Yeah. So if you make a mistake, no one's going to catch it, right?
Yeah. But it was kind of funny because there was a gentleman who was a really good writer in the UK. I read one of his documents after being in the US for like 6 years. And I read his document, I says, man, this guy can't write. And I felt so good. No, he can write. He can write really well when he's in England, but in the US, a little different. And just the context and you know, the present, past, and third person and everything else, which way we write in the UK, those sort of things come through. But it's kind of interesting. It's funny.
Wow. Well, I know usually when I say it's about time to wrap up, you throw out a last minute thought. So I want to put a buffer in here of, do you
All
have
right.
any last minute thoughts? Something that's crossed your mind that you found extremely interesting this week, or something you just really want to tell the audience?
So yeah, there is one thing I'm kind of glad you asked because there always is one thing, you know how it goes. And this one thing, I'll probably go on for another 20 minutes, you know how I am. I'll waffle on. But so I've been sort of looking and thinking about, I spend a lot of time on social media trying to grow and promote the content from Open Source Workplace. And, you know, what's really apparent to me is no matter how much I grow my network on, be it LinkedIn, be it Twitter, Instagram, whatever, it has almost zero impact on how many more people or how many less people come to Open Source Workplace, even though I'm sharing all the content. And I suspect, and I went back into LinkedIn and I had a look, okay, so I've over 13,000 connections or whatever it is on LinkedIn, right? But I went back and I had a look at when my connections were a lot lower. Was my content or things I was sharing, was it being seen by more or less people? And the math showed that actually it's the same amount of people, if not less. Less people today. And same on Facebook. And I'm sort of sitting back and thinking, why would that be? And obviously, if you think about Facebook and LinkedIn, they're platforms, they want you to pay to allow other people to see your site on their platform. They don't want to push you to other people, to your own platform. So I've been thinking, okay, am I spending time, valuable time on these platforms, trying to promote and share and give the content whenever I know that only a small fraction of the people who are in my network are actually going to see anything? So I sort of made a pact to myself that I'll maybe share one article per week on those sources, and I will spend less than 30 minutes per week on the platforms to see what impact it has. Again, these are just like trial and errors and see what happens. But in essence, it's just like, I don't know the benefit to somebody who is trying to promote their platform, their site on another person's platform, whose whole goal is to keep you on their platform so they basically can make more money from advertising dollars. So that's sort of what's been sort of running through my head this last week as well, and a little something that I'm going to do and see where it goes.
Okay, best of luck. I can't wait to hear how it turns. There may be no shift in productivity, and if that's the case, you might save yourself a lot of time.
No, I mean, I was basically, honestly, I would post an article, then I would go and share it on all these different social media outlets. And yes, it did impact how many people were coming. And yes, have I seen a downturn of many people come to the site? For sure. But is that time and effort worth all that extra, or can I spend time doing other things that would bring more value to the people who actually come to the site? And that's the equation and sort of the balance I'm trying to work out. So we'll see where that actually ends up.
Well, trial and error, that's part of it.
Of course.
Thank you very much again for joining us this week. We'll be back next Monday to pick your brain and talk about what's new. Until then, that's Steve Todd, founder of Open Source Workplace. I'm Alek Dincoff. Thank you for joining us.
Correct.